A lot of our literature, we talk about how the gut educates the immune system, and
Hmm.
how potentially with MS, maybe there are things that we're taking in that are causing inflammation, or maybe we're not digesting properly for some reason. That milieu or that collection of molecules in our gut is not properly balanced, and that inflammation can then trigger inflammation in other parts of the body, potentially in the brain, which can cause demyelination like multiple sclerosis. So we talked a little bit about the healthy gut, right? You should be going on a regular basis. You shouldn't be gassy all the time. You shouldn't be having those issues if your gut is healthy. We talked a little bit about the leaky gut, with inflammation. And so, what is the connection that we know of between the gut and autoimmunity, right? So, specifically, we know that there's a link between the gut and MS, but what about autoimmune disease in general? So, there's a lot of discussion and research focused on how the gut can lead to autoimmune conditions. And tell us about that connection.
It's almost the same pathway. It's that inflammation, and that inflammation is triggered.
Hmm.
And so and I'm going to date myself on this. It's like when something hits the bloodstream or when your alarm goes off, that alarm is to alarm you that something is happening.
Hmm.
So inflammation within itself isn't bad because that's our cell danger response.
Hmm.
But what happens when it keeps going and it keeps going and it keeps going, and then now you're destroying the tissue. And when you start to destroy the gut tissue, then it goes and you destroy all the other tissue. So if your brain is the weakest, then that's gonna be more effective. I see well, it's almost like a snowball, right? Or avalanche. It starts with a small snowball, and as it continues to grow and grow and grow, then it becomes destructive. And that's the same thing with our inflammation. If inflammation over time becomes very destructive to the tissue, and that leads to disease. And a lot of times your stress is like, I think we underestimate stress. And
Absolutely.
I'll say this especially in our community.
Hmm.
We think we have that superwoman syndrome.
Hmm.